wait till Monday morning and Greg comes into the office, you might have 15 calls on the answering service, just call the police department. And if by some chance during the week you can't get a hold of anybody here, just contact us. And we have direct contact with the road crew, both in East Rock Hill, West Rock Hill, and PennDOT. So we like to get those reports because then we document that information, so there's a proper flow there, and make sure things get done. Thank you.
I have something I want to add to the chief's report. I received some information about Milford Township, and they have a one-lane bridge like we have, that we have down by our twin churches. You have the pictures here? Oh, it's up there, yeah, okay. We thought PennDOT put a sign up there that said 4 cars at a time to keep traffic moving, and it's a PennDOT looking sign. And I called Milford and they said, sure, it's PennDOT. And we've had a lot of good information coming back from people saying that the backup isn't there anymore. So this is great. So I told the chief, and the chief checked in today and found out.
It's not a PennDOT sign. And PennDOT's taking that sign down.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think it's a great sign. We have 2 congested areas on Allentown Road. We have it at Ridge Valley there at the church, and Butter Creek Road right there at the one-lane bridge. So it does get congested there. I've seen people approach that and 2 cars go through, or 3 cars, and sometimes that works. And I've also been there and seen where it didn't work. People get agitated when 2 cars go through and it's their turn to go through. So yeah, I did contact PennDOT. Believe it or not, they do have a sign division, and they're aware of that sign, and that is not their sign. So.
Why did we put that?
So unfortunately, that's not going to be a solution for us, but we tried.
Yeah, we did try.
Yeah. All right. That's all I had.
No, Chief, thanks very much for your report. I'll make a motion to accept the chief's report as presented.
I'll second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it. Thank you, Chief. Next commission report is Short Wreck Authority. Jim?
We passed our budget last month. There was a very short meeting. There were only 4 of us in attendance. Wasn't a whole lot to say. Actually, there were 4 of us in attendance, 3 from Sellersville and myself. So we still have an opening, which I would like to move forward with. And I will once again ask if we can match the $2,000 that was put forth by Sellersville, so we could make our budget for this year. The 2 gentlemen will have more and more time to review that.
Well, I, as I spoke to you last month, I think I made it public that I'm not willing to add the 2,000. Our intent was to reduce our contribution and move it back to the $10,000 originally. And the Joint Rec Authority is supposed to be using the money that the township gives for capital improvements, not to run the day-to-day operation. Now, I know we've been doing that. And Jim, you have put a lot of time and effort, and you're doing a great job with the pool. However, I don't think that the township should continue to contribute more money towards that. I think that the Joint Rec Authority should be able to find ways to make that work.
Well, first of all, let me just state, I've never seen any documentation anywhere that said this is supposed to be capital improvements only. And I don't think we've ever been able to find any information that says it's capital improvements only. But I understand your position, and I will just continue to comment and ask.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll just let it go. Okay. I don't have anything else for tonight.
Okay.
I move for approval of Jim's report.
I'll second it.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Up here, lady, this time of year, tax collector's report.
Okay, annual tax bills for the month of December, I collected $3,671.40 in annual taxes, and interims only $34.31. I did collect 1 streetlight tax of $35.61. All the streetlight tax have been settled for the 2019 tax year. Do have a week left to collect for taxes. But I do note that we have collected $1,400 more than that was budgeted, so we're moving in the right direction. Liens will be filed in January for unpaid taxes by by December 31st.
Roughly how much do we have unpaid for 2019?
Well, I can't give you the exact number because I have actual collection versus, I'd say probably around 15,000.
Okay. That's for grade.
Yeah, it's, you know, base versus when people actually pay. But, like I said, we have a week left, and I did send out all final notices for county, township, and school taxes, on Tuesday, so.
Any questions, Jim?
I have no questions.
Jim?
No questions?
Entertain a motion for approval of tax collections.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it. Engineers report, Mr. Bellamy.
Right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you see on your report, on the agenda, the only thing under my report is the potential Act 537 update. If you recall, it wasn't that many years ago that we undertook a complete rewrite of the Act 537 plan, or the sewage facilities plan for the township. But DEP has come back to us, and not only us, several other townships in Bucks County, and I presume all through the district, requesting some updates to the plan, not a total rewrite of the plan. Their primary concern now is proliferation of stream discharge systems and other repairs. We've had several in the township over the past couple of years. I think our main area has been out on Old Bethlehem Pike. And our overall plan had a statement in it that said if we do identify pockets of problem areas, that the township would do extra review of those areas to determine if there's a better solution than just installing all of these separate stream discharge systems. So they've come to us and asked for the township to undertake that.
Is that a reasonable request, based on what we're experiencing?
It's reasonable, they have reason to believe that we are having a number of those systems. There has been quite a few systems in the past couple of years, so it did not surprise me at all that they had made this request.
Okay.
Again, I said it's not an overall study for the whole township, it's some mapping and coordination with the health department to figure out where all these repair systems have been. One of the things that we brought up to DEP is the coordination that we have now with the health department isn't that great. We usually get copies sort of after the fact. We find out about repairs after they've been approved already, on some of the systems, not all. Some of them need our signatures and our approval, other ones don't. So from their side, the DEP committed to try to get a better working relationship with the health department so information flows back and forth better, and we have a better handle on where these repairs and problems are coming up. So it's something we'll have to work with Greg and try to get our hands around a bit of a budget of what this endeavor will cost us. It should be a little bit easier for West Rock Hill Township than some of our other municipalities that are going through this, because you have the newer Act 537 plan, you have the sewage management ordinance in place, which is one of the things they're asking all the other municipalities to do, is to establish the sewage management ordinance. And that program, I think, has been working fairly well for us for the past couple of years. So we're ahead of the game for some of the other communities that are being asked to do this. But they're asking nicely now. I assume if we don't cooperate, they won't ask nicely the next time. We'll get some order that we have to comply with an update.
Yeah.
So I'll continue to work with Greg. I just wanted to make you aware of what the issue was, what the scope was, and I'll get together with Greg and try to put some numbers to what it may cost to do this mapping and work.
Is the timing an issue? I mean,
They have not given any deadline. I think they're hoping that through this next year, that we actively pursue it and have, something to submit to them so we can go back and forth a little bit.
so they have the same information we have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they want us to give them some initial mapping so they could, determine if they want us to do more or not. So there'll be a little back and forth through the process.
Is that any more questions? Steve, on that?
No, of course, my biggest question is what kind of numbers are we looking at? You're gonna be working on that.
Yeah,
so.
we wanted to explain this situation to you first, and
This isn't another basin program, is it? It's similar to that.
No, this is strictly looking at, getting records on where all the repairs have been over the past couple of years, map those, map where our poor soils are in the township. And identify if any of those areas could be, is there a better way to serve them? Which really is there a way to get public sewer to some of these areas where we have a lot of failures? That's what they're looking for.
Well, we have an area where we need public water right now, and probably wouldn't hurt to put public sewer there as well. And was that area recommended, or we
Major.
If
discuss that?
you're referring to Bethlehem Pike, yes.
I am.
We had that discussion, and actually, that's one of the items on there, the last item on their memo that I believe is in your packet, that they are going to look into that issue of the existing treatment plants in that area and how we could get public sewer to them.
See, there's no answer other than public water and sewer, because they don't know where that flume is going next.
I think Don's referring to the Tabor Road.
Correct, that would be a public water issue, and that, we're not looking at public water at all.
Okay.
This investigation would solely be about public, or not public sewer, but
Okay.
sewer in general.
Sewer in general.
Another
Right.
subject.
But we've been through this already.
Well, we do have, before the water contamination, we've had the sewer issues in
Yes.
Bethlehem Pike.
Yep.
And DEP indicated a willingness to try to,
Which is right next to the 3 Mile Run Creek.
we have several options.
Yep.
To sewer, it's just none of them have been able to move forward.
Okay. Thank you for your update.
That's all I have unless there's any questions.
Okay. Any further questions? If
Nope.
not, I'll entertain a
I'll
motion.
make a motion, we accept Steve's report. I'll second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Steve. Solicitor's report.
Hi.
Kimberly.
Thank you. At the last meeting, you reviewed the, plan of the Teresco. And we have prepared a resolution in accordance with the board's direction at that meeting. It's been in your packet. The applicant has sent an email indicating that they accept the conditions, so if you are inclined to approve the resolution, it would take a motion to approve resolution 2019-20.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution
21, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
2019.
I'll second that motion.
Barry, I have a question.
You can go.
Am I in a position to sign this?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't here when this was put in motion.
You weren't here for the discussion, but you're here for the vote, so
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Well, he made the motion, I seconded it, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
The second thing on the solicitor's report is authorization, a request for authorization to advertise an ordinance. At the last meeting, you adopted a plan, document for your pension plan through PMRS. And, they sent it back with a few corrections. They were not substantive, it was just, they put things under different categories. Then Greg and I did, but it's exactly the same plan, there's no changes being made to the plan. But they would like you to adopt the plan document, the plan agreement by ordinance. And it's a very simple ordinance saying we hereby, establish the plan agreement as our pension plan. And, that would be advertised for your next meeting. So if that's all right, just a simple motion to authorize advertisement would be sufficient.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
And then, for Don, it says in the, Ackerman conservation easement that there's 51 acres that are conserved, there's 4 acres that are not subject to the easement at all. And it says that public access to the property is not generally permitted without the consent of the grantor, the Ackermans, or whoever owns it, with the exception of a limited portion of the property identified on the conservation plan map as a corridor adjacent to Butter Creek, designed for the purpose of hiking, recreation, nature study, environmental education, and the like. So, access to the designated area will not be gained through other parts of the property. So there is a public access component to Ackerman along the creek. but the rest of it, you would need permission of the property owner to access the property.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you.
I move for approval of, solicitor's report. I hear a second.
Oh, yeah, I'll second it.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Township manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have the treasurer's report for November 30th. The general fund has $496,268.26. Highway aid, $46,489.33. Open space, $1,118,695.25. The park fund, $10,013.09. The equipment fund, $18,521.67. Highway capital, $128.58. Street light, $34,177.44. The reserve funds, general fund reserve, $351,302.08. Open space Manderfield, $50,599. Sewage maintenance fund, $175,551.02. Stormwater fund, $7,263.43. And the escrow funds, $374,740.61. You also have a copy of all the bills.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report and payment of bills subject to audit.
Okay, I'll second that.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
The next item is the approval of the 2020 budget. Budget was advertised, was put up on the website. There are some highlights for the budgets, which I went over at last month's meeting. There will be $221,465 for road repair. $120,000 will be taken from the reserves and allocated for the Adelphia legal expense. $80,000 will be allocated for the demolition of the buildings at the catch basin property. And $63,272 will place the 2000 GMC truck and a new debris blower for the John Deere truck. Board has any questions?
I have none. I think you put together a good budget.
No questions?
Isn't it, right?
I have none. I hear a motion for approval of the proposed 2020 budget.
Actually, there was a statement made at the beginning of the meeting that the people in the audience wanted to make comments.
You'd probably get a motion in a second on the floor before that.
Okay, you made a motion, okay, I'll second it.
Most of the night
All those in
discussion
second, and there's a discussion from the floor.
or comment.
Comment.
Just made a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Regina Schreingmeyer, Sterling Road.
Please
I'm
continue.
fine here.
Go.
I
What
would
do
like
you
to
do?
know how much is being spent on health insurance and who's getting what. Is anybody gonna answer?
I'll answer. I am not on the health insurance plan this year. I moved off it. My wife and I are getting health insurance through another agency outside of the township. Just so you know, if I had taken it and I had my daughter on the plan also, I could have spent as much as $62,000 this year for the three of us. But we will not be now, and we will never again be on the plan.
Jay,
I'm on the same insurance that I've been on before.
I'd like to know what percent and what dollar figure
I don't
you're
know.
taking for you and your
I don't
doctor
know
that
those
one.
numbers exactly, Greg might, but you have to look them up.
Do you know that, Fred?
I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head.
So I can get that from you.
You put in a right to know request.
I will do that.
Paul Racer, Lawn Avenue, 1402.
Thanks
Just a
for coming.
comment on the $120,000 going to the lawyers for this gas line. Sit here the last 6 months and through these meetings, everybody's crying, they have no decent water, the septic systems are failing, our roads are failing, and what are we doing? We're trying to protect something that's not even built yet, you know? And we're like the little guy in this thing. You're never gonna get the top. You can say you can try, but $120,000 is a lot of money to this township. for legal fees.
Thank you for your comment. Yes, Frank.
Go get it, Frank.
Frank Shimondera, 1030 Allentown Road. It's disgusting to sit in the back of this room in the year 2019 and hear a supervisor say that we're looking at lowering our contribution to the pool from 13,000 to 10,000. I was on that pool commission, I'm gonna say approximately 10 years ago, when Sellersville was willing to raise it from 10,000 to 25,000 a year. We came back to the supervisors at that time and it was pulling teeth to get $13,000. That pool is not a West Rock Hill pool, it's not a Sellersville pool. I believe when we did surveys, we had 8 or 9 different communities where the people come from. The big change in that pool took place when Percy built Menlo. And they put a demand on there that if you wanted to be part of the Penn Ridge swim team, you had to belong to Menlo. Now, if I got children that are swimming for Penn Ridge at Menlo, and I am forced to be a member there, why would I be a member at Holiday? We're trying to get over that. That was done by committees that I was not on. There was a time when we had a bunch of old men on that committee that didn't give it any ideas about what that pool means to this community. But to sit here and hear the idea of lowering it from $13,000 to $10,000, if that goes through, we ought to be ashamed. And in closing, Don, I wish you the best of health, you and your wife. And thank you for your service.
Thank you. I might just add to your comments, since 2010, we have put over $200,000 into that pool. Over $200,000. Somersville has put $200,000. Okay, so it's $400,000, and we've never made a nickel. That pool and that organization needs to get a business manager to understand what's going on. I've looked at the budgets, and I've gone through a lot of budgets in my life, and there are a lot of questions there. But somebody who understands running a business and so forth, has got to look at what's going on, because what's going on is not right. We have like maybe 50, 60 people from out of our 5,700 members in West Rock Hill that participate in that activity, okay? And every year, we put $13,000 in there, and every year, we wind up breaking even or losing a little bit of money. So there's gotta be, we gotta get over the emotional aspect and look at this as a business. It's either gonna function or it's not.
How come Silversville doesn't seem to have a problem? They look at it in a different vein.
Did you look at the money they take over from it? That West Rock Hill does it? The financial management.
What do they take off of it?
Finance, clerical work. Look at the budget. I looked at the budget today.
They back money out of their contribution every year. They charge us.
They do. It shows up as different costs.
You should look at that.
All I'm suggesting.
My 5 minutes are up.
2 minutes, right?
And I would like to make one comment.
This is
though.
not an emotional thing.
No.
This is a fact of life. And we gotta figure out some way to make that profitable if it's gonna exist. Otherwise, it's absolutely crazy throwing these people's tax money down the drain. Because that's exactly what-
Come on.
There's $400,000 in a reserve fund. There's gonna be $400,000 in that reserve fund 10 years from now. If we can't take 5% out of that every year and give it to an asset of this community, we stink. And to lower it is worse than that.
I'd like to make a comment.
Thank you.
grants involved, there were other things involved. That was not a straight payout by West Rock Hill Township of $200,000. And in addition to that, there's a lot more people than what you just mentioned at that pool. You're looking at annual membership, an annual membership is up to 4 or 5 people, not just one person. And you were looking at annual memberships. There's day passes that come in there. Over half the money we bring into that pool is by day passes.
That's right.
Jim, I wasn't talking about any membership. I was talking about information that came out of that organization, that roughly 60 people from West Rock Hill participated in that activity. Now, if that's not true, then somebody gave me bad information. And I never talked about who was members, who was not members. I'm just saying, and that $200,000, 130,000 of it is the $13,000. Plus, we allowed the organization to sell a piece of property with house, which brought in $200,000, which Sellersville and West Rock Hill agreed to turn that money over to the Holiday House pool. So where that money went, I don't know. I'm just saying, somebody better take a look at that as a business and operate as a business, and maybe you can survive as a business. But it's not being operated that way now. I'm looking at the numbers, and I see for the last 10 years what's going on. The numbers just continue to go down the tubes.
You could say the same thing about health insurance. It should be run as a business, and businesses don't provide $35,000, $40,000, $45,000 for health insurance for their employees.
I'm sorry they do.
No,
Not
they
for
don't.
part-time
employees.
Businesses do.
Not for an employee that doesn't get paid.
Yeah, but you're not considered an employee.
They're not employees.
Sorry.
Okay,
You had a motion and you had a second on the budget.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's have it.
The last thing that I have is authorization for Steve Fowler to make up bids and
So
then
that's it?
advertise them for the demolition of the buildings at the catch.
Jim's motion.
Yes, I will make a motion that
Did you
we
make a motion?
authorize him to do that.
And I'll second.
I don't
Moved and
know.
seconded. All in
Did he?
favor?
Aye.
He did.
Let's have it.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Make a motion, we accept the township manager's report.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All business. Approval of new microphone for boardroom.
This is my item too. We get a lot of concerns and complaints from the people in the back few rows that they can't hear what's going on. I've heard it from many folks actually, and one of the reasons is the way some of these microphones are placed. I've been working with Galco Communications, who handles all of our communications in the building, and came up with a solution to put a microphone on the new podium, the new lectern, and remove the one from the ceiling, which should help anyone standing over there be able to be heard by everyone in the area. And then to move the microphone over Steve out here, so it's actually directing down to Steve so people can hear him better. And I think that is going to take care of the situations that we've been getting with people being able to hear what's going on. So Galco has sent us a price of $695 to complete all the work. We could do that before the next meeting if I can put that up for a vote, but to the board. So I open it up to you too.
I'm not gonna support it. I think that this microphone and that microphone are working fine.
Oh.
When people come up here,
If they come up and stand underneath there and speak, you can hear them in the back.
No, you can't.
You know, you haven't been back
I
here.
have been back there in meetings.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Okay. I gave you my position.
Yeah.
well, the issue is, this has been moving along, and we've never had any discussion by the board on this.
I've brought this up several times.
This is worse discussion is public, it is a public discussion. So,
Okay. We'll discuss
I
it,
don't,
Jen.
I don't think it's a necessary investment.
Okay.
I mean, those people came up here, I don't think there's anybody here who couldn't hear what they said.
That's not true. It's called transparency.
I will, I'll table this for now.
Okay,
Unbelievable.
so document that has been tabled for me. Okay, any new business?
I have none. Oh, I have none.
Okay. Public comment. Yes, sir.
Don White, Allentown Road. I'd just like to say thanks for the signs on Allentown Road. I guess we're moving towards restricting trucks on Allentown Road, the large semis. I know we have one sign up above Trimbargersville. I don't know whether there's one down on the lower end or not. That one's not there yet?
It's there.
It's there? Okay, so that's the right direction, and I'm assuming that somehow we can get the GPS people to not send trucks there anymore.
Yeah.
Once they realize that the trucks can't be there anymore, once it doesn't appear on the GPS, those guys don't use those roads anymore.
Right.
That'll
So-
help, yeah.
That's a, thanks. I'm glad you guys followed through on that. I mean, it took a
Still
while,
under
we got it
pressure.
done.
Not done yet, but it's still under pressure to get it done.
Yeah, the signs are there, so
From here to PennDOT.
it's not gonna, I think we all know it's not gonna happen instantly, but, it's just unsafe. I mean, they can't drive on that road safely, so we need to get them off of there. The other thing I'd like to ask about is the barn across the street. I'm really glad that the decision had been made to, save the barn and take care of it. I have one request, that we kill the vines that are growing on the barn. That's an old stone building, and stone buildings do not like vines. Vines dig into the mortar and it destroys your building. So all that really needs to happen at this point right now is somebody needs to go over there and cut the vines off at the base. And they'll die and eventually they'll come down, but you're asking for trouble if you leave those vines growing in that building. Alright? I don't know if I can get that done right. If you want me, I'll go over and cut them.
Appreciate that.
Alright. So the other thing I have is, and I've brought this up before, I'm not winning this argument for some reason. You have signs in the Manderfield property on the trees, and whoever installed those signs has twice now screwed the signs all the way into the tree. So the screw is cinched up all the way to the tree. Signs are only gonna last a couple years that way, because the tree's gonna grow and it's gonna pop the sign right off of there. I don't really agree with putting nails or long screws in those trees anyway. It's a valuable resource, but the way you're doing it's really, you're kind of wasting money, because the signs are just gonna pop off. They popped off the last time in a couple of years, and they're gonna pop off again this time. So if whoever